how alarming to you is this Celsius situation?
Thanks for having me today. I think the Celsius situation is a particularly extreme example where, a confluence of factors have led to this moment. There's certainly been a number of folks in the market saying for weeks now that this could be a possibility, particularly given the use of client funds that, Celsius has been suspected to be using in various DeFi protocols. And so, while this is particularly worrisome, I think this is also not entirely unexpected and certainly is a risk that a lot of folks in the market were thinking about.
Okay, but there's something big rattling the market. I mean, getting down to, $23,000 for Bitcoin, a new 18-month low. Do you see is the bottom further out, or have we hit it?
Yeah, I mean, it's always tough to call the bottom. I think, and from my perspective, we are certainly nearing the bottom. It's difficult to say what exactly is causing all of this, whether it's Celsius or whether it's just the larger macro conditions that are really causing a lot of sell-off over the past few weeks. And I think this is a very risky asset class to begin with, and then when you pair that with what's been happening globally, it certainly becomes challenging for new investors.
You look at Celsius and the relationship to staked Ether, for example, and then the decoupling of staked Ether from Ether itself. Kinjal, if you're looking at kind of maybe the larger ramifications here, whether there's any contagion in the system, given so many of these firms are interconnected, to what extent do you expect some contagion or more contagion?
Yeah, I certainly think this is unfolding live, as we speak. The STE particular situation, I think, will continue to unfold over the coming weeks and, likely will have some impact on DeFi protocols largely, as many pools of liquidity are holding STE. So we will likely continue to see a little bit more of an impact here.
And as far as impacts go, too, is this going to take some steam out of the DeFi space more largely, especially because after some of these implosions, after some of the ways that retail investors are impacted by this, it could draw some more regulatory attention?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think the regulatory concerns have been looming. I think DeFi has been sort of in the eyes of regulators for some time now. Certainly this might speed things up. However, long term, I think DeFi is really trying to spur financial innovation, and a lot of our regulators are aware of this and really responding in a way that hopefully we can continue to spur this innovation.
Kinjal, we're just getting some headlines across the terminal that this inflation data that we got today, this very hot reading, is likely to push the Fed to consider a 75 basis point hike later this week. Either way, inflation isn't going away anytime soon. Are you evolving your strategy at Blockchain Capital at all? And if so, how, given a rapid, what seems to be devolution of market conditions?
Yeah, I mean, at Blockchain Capital, we are still, very much focused on the long-term thesis around digital assets and blockchain technology. And so we continue to sort of be pushing along with that thesis and advising our founders to ensure that they're prepared for the market ahead. Certainly, the macro conditions are unprecedented. Crypto has not really existed with this sort of macro backdrop. And so we are moving forward with a little bit of worry, but we are certainly excited about the future ahead and continuing to think about the long term.
Do you think that in the new macro environment, Bitcoin then changes its meaning relative to how we're seeing central banks really play out across the world, and inflation, still remain hot, but Bitcoin going lower?
Yeah, I think as Bitcoin has increasingly become a more and more popular name among financial markets more broadly, the asset has certainly seen an influx of investors that are more diverse, I would say, than historically. So I think we'll continue to see some a little bit of interplay between tech and more broadly and Bitcoin. However, I still think the inflation and store of value thesis has yet to fully play out here.